interesting things to cover, which will be very helpful for your project also. So first we'll start with the statement called break and continue. So we'll start break and continue. Then we'll start array and array list. Then we'll also do HashMap. And then we'll do exception. This is very, very important for your exam perspective, interview perspective. You cannot just go without understanding this. You have to understand. And then last topic we're going to cover is file reader and writer. So this is, I need to cover all the details I have updated in our forum. So you have full-fledged access on forum, all homework details in a forum. I always request you to first understand the concept. And you know how fast I update the recording also. So you have access to recording also. So you can watch the recording in case if you're having trouble. In case if you feel like, hey, I need help, you can come here early or maybe work here. You have WhatsApp group, you have other students, project group. Make sure you ask. And if you need help, email me. I will answer. No worries about it. But the good news about it, whatever needed for the homework, I'm going to cover tonight. Today. So you should not have much problem. If you watch recording, you will be fine. Sounds good? Okay. So first thing for break and continue. So first, let me draw it so you will understand and appreciate that. So when you're doing loop, right? When you do loop, sometimes you may have conditions that you want to come out from the loop. You want to come out from the loop. So if you want to come out the loop, then you use concept called break. And sometimes you are trying to do loop, but you don't want to do process. So you are doing loop, but you're doing loop, but you don't want to do certain thing, and you want to skip it. You want to skip. If you want to skip it, if anything you want to skip it, then you do continue. Continue is for skip. So we'll do that part also today. Continue. So why we do break and why we do continue. So like example, if I'm looking for a customer called Mike. So first customer may be Amy, second customer may be Kevin, third customer may be Julia, fourth one is Mary, and fifth customer is Mike. As soon as I get Mike, I don't want to continue. So I will break it. So sometimes if you don't break, the loop will keep going. And that's called bad practice. Good programmer, as soon as they get the result, they break the loop. So we'll talk about it. Skip part. So example, I want to print Mike's account. So first is Amy, I don't want to skip it. The second is Kevin, I want to skip it. The third one is, let's say, Julia, I skip it. Fourth is Mike, I want to print it. So if you want to skip it, means you're not stopping the loop. You're continuing the loop, but you don't want to do anything. So that's called skipping. Skipping means you're continuing the loop. You're not coming out from the loop, but you are not processing it. And this happens. This happens sometimes. The reason it happens because your processing part is important. Sounds good? So far, so good. Any questions, concerns, doubt? Come on in. Class starts, class started at 9:30, right? No, 14 minutes late, huh? You lost all my energy, huh? What happened? We can make you coffee for you, okay, next time. But let's try come early, right? Because you will lose the whole picture. Climates is gone. Now you will not know what's going to happen, right? And then say, I'm clueless, right? It's not, our approach matters, right? Make sure you're early. So it's very important that you understand this too. If you go for Java certification, you will have two questions, one for break and one for continue. Sounds good? So let's do the exercise so you can understand. So first thing, let's start the NetBean. We have a lot more exercise to do. Okay, so it's coming up. Anytime you're doing break or continue, you do need to have a loop, and you can use any of the loop, like for loop. You can use while loop. You can use do while loop, or you can use do while loop. Any loop, but you need a loop if you want to use break or continue. Skip. You cannot use break all continue without loop. So make sure you have loop, for loop, while loop, or do while loop. If you are not using, you cannot use break or continue. So let's get started. Let me know if your NetBeans is up and running. Okay, good, awesome. So first thing first, we'll start a Maven project, and in that we'll write a tiny loop so you can understand as well. And in the same program, I'm going to teach array, so you can save some time also. So first thing, let's start a file, new project, file, new project, file, new project. And in that, we'll start a Maven project. I think this will be very clear for now because we've done many projects, right? And that is where things repetition will really help. So you will be doing Java with Maven, right? And next, and here we'll say my loop, and you can give any name. So I'll say 6, my loop 6. That's my project name. My loop 6. That's my project name. My loop 6. My loop 6. Good. Awesome. Now finish it. Now, as you know, we are going through the journey. We have project. Project has many packages, right? Project can have many packages, and inside package, you can have many classes. So one package can have many classes. So we have to create a class. So we right click on the package and create a class. Right click on a package and create a class. If you already have a class with the main method, you don't have to do that. You can use that. You can use that class if you have a class with the main method. But right now I do not have. So I'm going to say right click, new Java class. Right click, new Java class. Right click, new Java class. Now, when you do that, here we'll say, in our case, we'll say, let's say my loop, M capital and L capital, my loop, my loop, my loop, my loop, my loop. Good. And then finish. So for me, my class is empty without main method. So we do need to write a main method. So I not normally memorize it. So public static, last week we talked about static means class. So it associated with class. Public static void main. Void means no return. Main is the method name. And inside your parenthesis, we will say string args and like that, and curly bracket start and end. This is something, this line you need to memorize if you're working on Java, because sometimes people ask public static void. This is your name of the method. Void means it's not going to return. It's a method, so it's not going to return. Static means it's associated with class, and public means anybody can call. And this is your input parameter, where you are going to pass input parameter string. Again, curly bracket start and curly bracket ends. That's your block. So this is your main block. And here, this is your class block. So make sure you respect the curly bracket. Now I'm going to write a for loop. So let's get started. So for in parenthesis, int I equals to 1, I less than equals to 5, and I say I plus plus, and curly bracket start, press enter, curly bracket start, press enter, and then say s out tab, and here you just write I. Make sure you remove double quotation. So this is nice, my for loop. This is my main method, and this is my class. As you can see that here, my start value will be 1. So this is my start value. This is my end value. And this is my increment 1. Plus plus means I'm doing I equals to I plus 1. We talked about last week, if you remember. So that is where I'm incrementing 1. So it will start with 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Do you think it will print 6? Why? Because this condition will become false. And if condition become false, loop ends. So let's save it and run it and check it out. Save it, run it and check it out. So if you run it, and I'm sure you will see 1, 2, 5. Now there are some peculiar problem people are having. I'm going to walk you through and you will see what are the issue people notice that in. Now, many people, in interview, people ask very interesting question. I'm going to cover those. So you can see it's not a coding, it's just understanding question. So right now, you can see now I got a 1 to 5 and I'm hoping that you also saw because there is a loop. Curly bracket is here and there is one more curly bracket. It's not shown on screen, but that is for here. Now, interview question. For for loop, do I need to use curly bracket like this? Yes or no? So answer is no. If, listen carefully, if you are only writing one line, so after for loop, I'm writing only one line. In that case, you don't have to use curly bracket and Java will automatically loop that. So don't do it, just see here. Please don't do anything. I'm removing the curly bracket, okay? So Java will automatically know that this line is part of the loop. I save it. Please, you don't do it and just see it. I'll see the same result. But there is a small problem, especially a person who are beginner. If person are beginner, they don't understand small item and I'll help you. So you can see right now, even though I did not write curly bracket, I still see the result. Make sense or no? Now, this is the interview question. What if I do semicolon here? What will happen? So this is the question normally people ask when you do very good job in interview. So this semicolon means this loop is now completed. So you will not see this. You will see this thing, but you will have a problem because the I is now no longer declared because this itself complete the loop. So this is called nullify. It means it's not going to run. So many times people don't realize that they made a mistake because they use semicolon. So that is the reason I never use like without curly bracket. I always use curly bracket because that's called good practice. Because today you write one line, tomorrow you write multiple line. Make sense? But if you have curly bracket, then you know that I'm writing in a loop. If you don't use curly bracket, please understand. And let's say I write this line, hello. I thought I'm writing in a loop. Let's say I'm writing hello, but it is not going to be used in a loop. Why? Because by default, loop take only one line. So there is a problem. Do you agree or not? So why to go through those hassles? Always use curly bracket and you're good to go. Make sense? Any questions here?
The variable I is not recognized outside of the loop.
Because you do semicolon, loop ends there. So now this is become automatically block. Remember last week we talked about visibility. So I visibility is only in this line. So you cannot use outside.
It's only visible inside the loop. It's not.
When you do semicolon means that's done. So after that you don't have access. Semicolon means that line is done. The loop ends there. So that other line will be outside of the loop. But if you remove the semicolon, yes, it is accessible for one line, but two line, it is not accessible. Make sense? This is very important. When you do very good job in interview, then they will ask you, this is called odd question. Very limited people know about it. Now, at this moment, my program is working. If I right click and run, I'm getting 1 to 5. Do you guys agree or not? Right? If you have a problem, please ask your neighbor or you can see my screen. I'm not writing too many lines, but you can see that custom clear. Now, it's printing 1 to 5. Let's say I want to write a condition here. Please pay attention. I want to write a conditions. If 1, 2, and 3, I want to stop. I want to stop the loop. Now you can say, hey, can you do this 3 here? You can, but then every time loop will stop at 3. But I want to write my own condition that even the loop is going from 1 to 50, I want to stop at 3. So if you want to stop at 3, after curly bracket, press enter. After curly bracket, press enter. And now write if in parenthesis, if I equals 2 times equals 3, then break. So what you are saying, because it's a one line, I'm not using curly bracket. Otherwise, I can use also curly bracket. Make sense or not? So what I'm saying, if I equal to 3, it's break. So now you can see this loop goes 1 to 5. Do you agree or not? But as soon as I will become equals, remember there are 2 equals. When I equals 3 means it will break. It means, do you see 4 and 5? Will you see that? No. So save it and run it and check it out. So you can see now the loop will stop, and 1, 2, and 3 it will stop. Do you agree? Why? Because this, as soon as it becomes 3, you are breaking. So you are not also printing 3 also. Question, concerns, doubt. Are you guys getting result or no? This is very popular because when you're printing something, like example, you're printing something and you say print all last name Smith. If last name is Smith, and then once Smith is done, you're gonna break. And if you wanna break, you use conditions. Can I use curly bracket? Answer is yes, but because it's a one line, I'm not using it, but you can use curly bracket. So if is the condition, if condition satisfy, you will break it. Make sense? Now you have other way of questions. Listen carefully. That if it is 1, if it is 2, don't display, but display 3, 4, and 5. Make sense? So the requirement is very simple. I know the loop is going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I don't want to display. I don't want to display 1 and 2, but I want to display 3, 4, and 5. What should we do? So in that case, I'll say if I is less than 3, if I is less than 3, instead of break, what am I going to do? Continue. So let's do it. Instead of equals, remove that. It's less than 3. Then you're going to do continue. Continue means keep it, don't go down. Continue means keep it, don't go down. So what happened? If the condition is true, the continue will say go and do other value. So loop is continuing, but this line will not execute. This line only execute if the condition is false. Make sense or no? So because the I1 and 2 condition is true, it's gonna continue. So continue means you are going to have, you are skipping the cycle and you're not getting this result. So if you save it and run it, you will see now 1 and 2 you will not see on the screen, but 3, 4, and 5 you will see on the screen. Make sense or no? Pretty easy. Question, concerns, doubt. Question, concerns, doubt. Why am I skipping 1 and 2? Because this condition is becoming true. So continue will go to the next, and next. But if somebody said skip 2 and 4, but show me 1, show me 1, show me 3, and show me 5, what should I do?
4.
So if I want to skip 2 and 4, so what should I write here? What would be my condition look like? First of all, yep, go ahead, help me here.
If I is equal to 2.
So I have to do 2 equals. Make sense or no? And I'll say if it is 2 equals, skip it, or 2 pipe. And I'll say I equals 4. Make sense or no? So now either it's 2 or 4, it's going to skip it, but rest it will print it. At this moment, you should be crystal clear about continue and break. If you are very clear, this will be very helpful, that anytime you want to come out from the loop, you can use break. And if you want to skip then you do continue. Make sure equals are twice equals, and pipe is also twice. In case if you do not know pipe, it is the key about the enter switch. So if you see enter, there is a switch here where you can see there is a backward slash and there is a pipe. So this is the switch we are using above enter. Good. Life is good. Awesome. So that is the first topic. I hope everyone is clear, and I'm recording sessions. You are doing the program. The best way to understand program is doing it. Trust me, doing it. And if you are not very clear, immediately ask your neighbor or see on the screen, because you see how tiny program I'm writing. The reason I write tiny program, so make sure you understand first before you do the complex program. Because goal of the exercise is not to write complex program. Goal of the exercise, you write complex program, I give you concept. Because once you understand concept, you will be fine. Now, many of you have problem because of curly bracket. Like maybe you're not doing curly bracket, your life will be a little bit miserable if you don't do proper curly bracket, because Java is all about curly bracket. So that's why you might notice that I highlight more often. The reason I do so you can easily understand. Many times students just do 1 equal and say it's not working. But that is 1 equal means assignment and 2 equal mean comparison. So you need to do that. and properly you can see the example, you see the result. If your results are matching with mine, means you're doing fantastic job. Okay. Now let's move to the next topic. The next topic is array and array list. Now this topic is my favorite topic, and I'm sure you will be using often because you are a QA students, or if you're going as a programmer, QA student have test data. So when you're having test data, you will need lots of value. So let's spend some time and make sure you're fully engaged. Don't do multitasking, because last thing you do is don't understand this concept. This is very, very important. I'm pretty positive you'll be using almost everyday basis. Okay, this is very important. So far, if you notice that we do int I equal to 5 and then semicolon. So what is I here? What is I here? Variable. And what is 5 here? Value, right? And then I give 5 to I, means I'm assigning. Yes or no? And this int is the data type. Int is the data type. But after a few minutes, if I say I equal to 7, what would be the value of I now? What happened with 5? What happened with 5? Because 7 value replaced the 5, means 5 is gone. And after a few minutes, if I do I equal to 9, what will happen now? 9. So now I can maintain only. So variable, in this case, variable can hold only one value. Speak with me. Variable can hold only one value. Only one value. So example, Ramesh. But let's say tomorrow I change his name to, let's say, Ron. Then he can have Ron, but he doesn't have two names. Make sense? But in a real life, there are cases where you need more than one. So example, if I say how many books you have, how many books you have, in that case, I need more than one book. Yes or no? How many friends you have? More than one. How many emails you have? How many degrees you have? How many certifications you have? Right? How many computers you have? As soon as I say many, it is more than one. Make sense? So Java give you option called array. Array means list of value. Speak with me. Array means list of value. It means here in variable, you can only and only store one value. In variable, you can only store one value. With an array, you store bunch of value. You store bunch of value. Make sense? Bunch of value. Means array gives you building. It's kind of building. It's a kind of building. Think about apartment complex. You have many floors. So array give you floors where your floor starts always with 0. Your floor, ground floor starts with 0, then 1, then 2, and then 3. Make sense or no? So array give you the floor where you specify this number, and this number which you specify here is called index. What do you call? Index, or we call subscript. Index or subscript. Index or subscript. Subscript. Subscript means just number. So subscript. So if I have, let's say, 0, 1, 2, and 3, means I can store 4 different values in this array. How many values I can store? 4. If I want to store 5, then I need to create that block. So if apartment has a 3 floor, then only 3 people can live. But if apartment has 20 floors, then 20 people can live. Make sense or no? So it's your choice. It's your choice how many values you want. So example, if I say that all class will have 20 students, what would be my array size? 20, because that's the maximum I want. But let's say if I say I don't know how many students I have, then if I start with 5 and let's say I have 10 students, I will not be able to hold it. Yes or no? So array has one limitation. Array has one limitation. You have to start with the fixed size. Start with the fixed size. So if you are starting, listen carefully. If you are starting a class where your dean say that you may have maximum 20 students, and currently you have 3 students, what would be your array size? 20, because you know that maximum you will have 20. So you keep 20, even though you have 3 students, because the possibility of going is high. Yes or no? But if you start with 3, then you will not allow 4th. Make sense or no? So array is a fixed size. Speak with me. Fixed size. Fixed size. Now, if you think about that, I have an array of books. I have array of books. What did you learn? I have many books, but do you think that I have magazines, CDs, or TV? No. So array can only store same data type. Speak with me. Same data type. So when I say books means books. If I say I have friends, what does it mean?
Right.
I have computers means I only store computers. So array allows only similar type of data, either int or spelling or other thing, but it has to be same. You can't do mix. Like first floor may be, let's say, book, and second floor may be TV, and third floor may be computer. It's not like that. Array allows similar type of data. So far, so good. Now, array itself can have many values. So if you want to write, if you want to write the value, then you have to say, first define the array name. So let's say array name is A, then you can say A of 0, and let's say I say 5. So if I say 5 means you are saying on 0, I'll store 5. Make sense? Or not? But if I say A1, 7, what does it mean now? Means I am going to write 7 here. Make sense or not? So you can define where you want to write. And if you know define right, you can read also. So if you say, give me the value of A1, it will give me 7 because I wrote it. And if I say my array is int type, array is int means integer, then by default value will be 0. Default value will be 0. Even though I don't write it, computer will make it 0. Make sense or not? Are we understanding? So far, so good. So let me do again one more time. So you all understand this is important topic. So please don't lose this thing. Remember one thing. Human nature is understanding. Human love understanding. And understanding gives you, I feel good. That feeling good will be there. So if I see your facial reaction like scary, it means you did not understand. If I say little smile, automatically it will come. Remember, you don't have to put effort. If I see your facial reaction a little bit loose, a little bit relaxed, it means you understood. If it is tense, means you did not understand, right? I'm going to repeat again. Remember, I speak English. I'm drawing pictures. And if you're not very clear, I would ask questions. But I don't want you to have, oh my God, it's hard. There is nothing hard, okay? Same concept I teach on grade number 4. So grade 4 students come. Grade 4, we are starting youth programming in a I think next week after youth programming. They're grade 4 to grade 5. I teach the same topic. Think about how the grade 4 can learn. If it is hard, they should not learn. Yes or no? I teach exact same thing. So it's proven that concept is not hard. You just need to pay attention. Ready? So first again. So if I say int x equal to 5, did I define variable or array? Variable. If I say int, let's say I say b, and if I specify this one, I can use variable uppercase or lowercase. If I say this thing, then if I use rectangle block, I define array. But then I need to define the size. So if I want to define the size, I'll say new. New means create a memory block, and then I can say I want to have int 4. So when I say 4, what does it mean? I can store only 4 different values. I can store 4 different values. So do you agree that when you see this thing, it gives you clue that this is array? And do you think this is give you variable? By seeing itself, you know the difference. Do you guys agree or not? Say yes or no. You cannot say, I don't understand that. Because array will start with a block, this rectangle block. That gives you clue. And this 4 is the size. Can I change 4 to 10? Yes, it might needs. It might needs it. Can I do 4,000? Yes. And every time you're using new, computer is generating a memory block. Speak with me.
Memory block.
Again.
Memory block.
Again.
Memory block.
So can I do million? Answer is yes, but it will take all your memory. So your computer will either crash or it will work slow. Do you see the problem? In a variable, you are only taking 1. How many you are taking?
1.
So your memory you are taking tiny. But if you give a big memory here, like example, I want to store entire American citizen in that case, it will be millions. I don't think any computer can hold that. Yes or no? So array have a problem. It takes memory, predefined memory, because as soon as you say new, Java will create a memory block to store 4 value. 100, 200, not a problem. But if you set 5 million, it's a big problem. It's going to take a lot of memory and your computer may not even work or crash. So it is one of the problem in array. Array takes a lot of memory. Makes sense or no? But if you are genuine, like example 10, 20, 30, not a problem. Because when you are writing a Selenium test cases, you might have a username, let's say 5 different username, or maybe you have 5 accounts where you want to test it out. You will be using array. Make sense or no? You will be using array a lot. So first of all, good. Now, if I say x equal to 8, what is the value of x now? 8. Now, if I say, what is the value of b of 0? What is the value of b of 0? 0, because it's an int data type, default value will be 0. But let's say if I say b of 0 is 5, and if I say b means it's an array name. This is the name of the array. This is the name of the array. And I say b of 1 is 100. Right? And now if I ask what is the value of b of 2? B of 2. What would be the value of b of 2? 0. Why 0? Because I did not write it. I did not write it. So far what value I write? B0 and B1. But B2 I did not write. So what would be the value? 0. If I say what is the value of B1, what am I going to get? And what is this 2 and 1? What is this thing known as? Index or subscript. Speak with me. Index or everyone. Index or this is the interview question. What do you call index or sub? When you speak, you will remember. You know that more you remember. That's why most time we are speaking, right? Index or subscript. Now, if I write B7, what will happen? If I write B7, what will happen? Do I have a capacity to go 7? So I will have exception. What will have? Exception means error. Exception means why I will have error? Because there is no floor in that building has a floor number 7. The building we call array is a building and the maximum floor is 4. And they start with 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. But if you write here 7 doesn't exist, you will get error. If I write B4, what would be the value? Error. Why? Because when you write 4, the building will be created with 0. Yes or no? Building name will be B, but start with 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. So maximum you can, when you say 4 here, you are actually creating 4 block, but there is no floor called B4. So when you do B4, you will get error. Make sense or no? So how would I know how many floors we have? Very simple. Use the name of the array. Use the name of the array and do dot length. Speak with me. Dot length. So when you say length, you will be able to print out how many blocks you have. It will give me 4. It will give me 4. So through the length, I will know how many items I have. Any questions so far? So far, so good.
If you have predefined how many blocks you will have, let's say array you have 4, and you only store 2 items, to the length, will it show 4 or will it show 4?
Because it's a predefined. Create a memory block. It's already created a memory block. When you use new, it will start creating that. So before even you use it, it's already there. That's why array is a predefined memory block. It's a pretty bad thing. If you need only 10 and you do 1000, it's a bad thing. You are always losing 1000 memory block, which is a lot of memory loss.
Is there a function to find out how much you have stored except using a loop?
No, there is no direct one. You have to use loop. There is no other way you can find out because it's you have it or you don't have it. That's pretty much it. So you have to go through the loop. Array always go with the loop. array, always go with the loop because you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, these are indexed. So whenever we use loop, we can easily do the array part.
There's no way to expand the array once you've created it.
So these arrays are static array, so you cannot expand or you cannot decrease the array. So there is a programming language called Visual Basic, does have a redimension, means you can adjust the dimension. I think except Visual Basic, I don't think any programming language has array modification. Once you define the array, that's a static. You cannot change the static. If you want to create, you need to create a new array, which is kind of problem. So there is a concept called ArrayList, which I'll cover after this. But array, are we clear so far? Good. Yeah. So let's create a new project and we'll start and we'll create an array. So let's create a new project. Let's do fast a little bit. Okay. Energy, file, new project, file, new project. Make sure you do the file, new project, Java Maven, and we'll say my array. I'll say 3, my array. So we're going to say my array. My array. Good so far. And finish. By now you should all understood how I'm expanding this thing and you should not have any problem. But expand your project so you can see your project visible on your screen. Okay. Always have a little smile so you can attract more. Yesterday, I was watching one of the YouTube video, and they are saying that in America, we are very high stress environment. Average life is high. However, maximum people take at least one medicine a day. They're saying almost 80% people are taking one medicine a day because of stress or anxiety or sleep deprivations or different reasons. And they're saying there are 6 things you can do to minimize that stress and maximize the healthy, happy life. And one of the things is relax, smile more, right? Walk more, talk to your friends more, watch TV or have some kind of music and all. Simple thing, make a difference. In the morning, do some breathing. This will increase your productivity, release your stress, and your life will be more happy. And overall, it takes hardly 5 to 8 minutes to do that. Because otherwise you will end up doing all stress and all. So have a little bit relax, okay? So now we're going to create a class called array. So here, right click on a package, say new Java class. Right click on a package, new Java class. Right click, new Java class, and I'll say my array, M capital, A capital. Always Java class, start with the first letter capital. I'm sure you know that. And finish. As you can, I'm going to borrow the main method because we've been using for a while. Now there is no need to write. So I'm going to use it and create the structure ready and press enter. So this is my everyone is good so far? See curly brackets, anytime your curly brackets start, have a habit, press enter. So it automatically closes the curly bracket. Now in this program, I'm going to use array so you can see how it works. It's simple. Array concept is quite easy. And I love array concept because it's so useful and it's easy also. So here, if I want to define variable, I say int x equal to 5. This is my variable. And if I want to define array, I can say a equals to new, sorry, my mistake, a of array equals to new int, let's say 3. So I define array. So you can see crystal clear, array and variable declaration is quite different. This is variable and this is array. There is no way you cannot detect the array because array always have a rectangle block like this. And this is the size. So you can state 0 floor, 1 floor, and 2 floors. So you have 3 floors. You can store 3 different values. And this array name is A. So your name, the building name is A, has a multiple floor. The total floor is 3, array size is 3. So far so good? Say yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Now, if I want to print it, I'll say sout tab, and I'll say x equals 2, and I can say plus x and I can say S out, and I'll say A0, and I'll say A of 0. And I can save it, run it, save the program, and run it. Right click and run it, and see what you get. So this is like declarations and uses. I'm just doing declarations and uses, and you can see that right now I would have done 0 equals, so you can see that. But you can see now you got the answer here because X was a 5. So when I print X, it got the 5 here. And even though I have not provided any value because it's array is int, default value is 0. So I got 0 here. Make sense or no? Everyone is good? Any questions so far? So far so good. So anything you write in double quotation, will be printed as is. And this is the variable, which is when I say plus means concatenate, and X will be printing 5 here, and A0 will be printing 0 here. So that's why this is coming from your array, and this is coming from your variable.
Why would you like 0 after?
Just to show you that I'm printing 0th element, right? Now, let's assume if I'm doing here, please understand X equal to 9. And if I say A of 0 equals to 100. Now, when I run the program, what should I expect? 9 and 100. Makes sense or no? So as I can see that I'm writing the value. So here I'm assigning value 100, and you will see that now A of 0 means I wrote 0th element is 100. So you can see now this is going to give me 100, and this one is going to give me 9. Easy. Say yes or no.
Yes.
Right? So you can see that variable is not able to hold the old value because this value is gone when I assign new value. Now let's say assume ID A of 2, and I'd say 50. Now if I run program, what would be the answer? Same answer, right? Because array can hold multiple value. You don't have to use it, even though the value I added in 2, I'm not using it, but still the old value remain there. So here the new value replace the old value, but here because you are using different floor, you are no problem. Make sense or no? Now I'm still using 0, but let's say I'm doing A of 0. If I say A of 0, let's say 5. Now if I run the program, what should I get?
5.
9 and 5. Because now you overwritten that floor value, you overwritten your new tenant in that floor. So the old was 100 and now new one is 5. So now you can see here your value is 5. The reason you have 5 because initially you wrote in 0 100, but after that you wrote 5. So whatever the latest value, array is able to hold it. Questions, concerns, doubt? Good. If you can type, you can understand because the way I'm trying to explain, you can store it. Now, this is called assignment. Here I have declared the array. And here I'm assigning. But there are ways you can short circuit. You can itself assign the value. So check it out. If I want to define another array, please pay attention. Int b, and I said this one equals to curly bracket, and I can say 1, 5, and 10. So I assign 3 value to my array B. And if I see B the block, if I say this is my B array, the 0 index, 1 index, and 2 index. So 1, I already have 0 index here, 1 index here, and 2. So 0 will be 1, this will be 5, and this will be 10. So you can assign value directly to the array. And this is called you kind of static declaration, means you define static value right there. While you are defining the array, it automatically Java will see what are the values you have. So here I have 3. So Java will automatically create 3 blocks. Make sense or no? So if I print here instead of let's say instead of A, if I print here B, let me do that. So if I S out, let's say B B of 1. B of 1, if I try to print it here, and I'd say B of 1, what should I get as a B of 1? So here I should be getting 5. Yes or no? So now run it and check it out. So you can see now I can print 5 here. Now the reason I'm able to print 5, make sure you see here, because this first value is 0th index, first index, and 2. So when you say B of 1, you are saying 5. So when I say B of 1, it give me 5. Question, concerns, doubt. Now you might notice that the block B is it's an array, but has all similar type of value. Int means int. You only store one data type, but it is a list of values. Make sense or no? Can I use a string, friends? Yeah. So there are multiple ways you can do. You can use, instead of int, you can say string, right? You can say string, please pay attention. You can say string and you can say friends, right? And then you can say new string, and then you can specify the block. Let's example 5. You can do that. Or you can say string, friends, and in curly bracket, write all your friends' name, Tom, right? Mike, right? Kevin, like that. And it's gonna work as well. Make sense or no? So you can do that. Any questions so far? Now I want to show you how to write array with a static and loop through print the values. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write the program same, and I press enter. So I can create a smell, and I'll say string, please type string friends equals to, friends array equals to, in a curly bracket, I'll say Tom, Mike, and Kevin, and Emmy. So I have few friends here. I specify the value. So now these friends got the value. Pretty good. These friends got the value. So how many friends I have? 4. So array size will be 4. It will be 4. It starts with 0, 1, 2, 3. The total size is 4, but maximum it will go to 3 because you start with 0. Make sure you type correctly. Array is always rectangle block. Array is always rectangle block. And when you define the value, you do curly bracket and curly bracket like that. Right? Double quotation start, double quotation ends. Now I have array, and if I want to print the array, the best way to operate with array is the loops. So you always use loops. So whenever you are using array, you normally going to use loops. Make sense? So how do I do that? So there are many ways you can do, but I like the loop or for loop. I normally use for loop. So I want to print array. So if I want to print array, I'll say for. I can say int I equals to 0, I less than, I will say 4, I plus plus, curly bracket start, press enter, and I'll say system out, remove double quotation, and I'll say friends of I. And if I right click and run, you will see all my friends information. So friends of I. So you can see I'm able to print Tom, Kim, Mike, and all because it's available. So what did I do? So I say, this is anyhow 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is the loop. Start with 0, end with 4, which is 3. So end with 4. So which basically this is conditions. If the condition is true, this will continue and it will increment. So initially I will be 0. So friends 0 means Tom. Then the loop will increment by 1. So friends 1 will be Mike. Then loop will increment 2, then Kevin. Then loop will, as soon as it goes to 4, it will stop. So 0, 1, 2, 3, like that. So this is your ending condition. This is your starting condition, and it's automatically increment by 1. So you can navigate like that. So why don't you see and give me thumbs up if you're able to run the program. If you are not able to run the program, please ask questions if you have any. Good, so far so good.
Do you have to, if you wanted to set, say, B2 to A0, do you have to use an intermediate variable, or can you just assign it between arrays?
Sorry, could you repeat again?
So if you have, back to your array A and B, I wanted B1 to be equal to A1.
Yeah, you can do that.
Do I have to
So
use
you can,
intermediate
so
variable, or?
No. You can assign array to array. So like example, if you're A array 1, then you can say, if you want to like, I want to assign from B0, you can do that. So any value you want to assign from array to array, you have to use the index. So from this index, it will assign to this index of this array. You can do that part. You can read this. When you use the index, this become kind of variable only, right? Because it's a one value. But you can't do A equal to B, A equals to B. You cannot do that. This is not going to work because this is array and array cannot assign like this. You have to assign one value at a time. Good. Now there is a problem here. If you hard code the end value, what if I delete this one value? Do you think it will work? Because here I say 4, so it will go up to 3. Yes or no? So if I delete this one value, it will create a problem because 0, 1, and 2. And this loop will go up to 0, 1, 2, and 3. So when you go to 3, you will have a problem. So I always tell people, if you are in a building and there is an elevator, did you see elevator goes all the way above the floor? Have you seen that? Have you seen elevator goes all the way? If you seen that or heard, it will be a news. 15 people die. Yes or no? Why? Because this is accident. Because if building is already fixed, how can your elevator goes all the way above? And same thing, your elevator cannot go more than ground floor. Yes or no? And if it happens, it's a news, people die. So what I'm trying to say, if you remember that concept, if somebody try to do array minus, it's not going to work. And if someone try to do array more than this, it's not going to work. Make sense or no? Anytime you're going more than predefined array, you will have error. You will have error. And you need to remember this thing. Many of my experience say that the newcomer programmers, their program works for a while, but there are a lot of issues happen in production because they don't think about this type of situation. And that's why you create more problem as a beginner than you solve the problem. So good idea and bad idea. Good idea is you can always use the size of array rather than fixed value. Because right now, let's example, if I made a 5 here, or maybe I made something, if I run it, I'll get an error. Array index out of bound. Speak with me. Array index out of bound. So what will happen? Array, it will print all 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but it will error out. And that's the news. So you can see now I have error. And if you read the error, it's a array index out of bound. Why? Because there is, when loop is going up to 4, it said there is no element of 4 here. Make sense? So this is called exception. What we call exception. Exception means error. This only happens, you're trying to read more than your array capacity. Make sense? To solve this problem, I never use 5. Rather, I would use array name. What is array name? Friends dot length. So I always use friends dot length. And now if I save this thing, doesn't matter. If you shrink array or you grow array, it automatically detect the array size and yet get you the result. So you will have peace of mind. It's always a good idea to use array dot length, because tomorrow, if you use tomorrow, let's say you add more item in array or you remove the item from array, this will work because it dynamically check the array size and then it prints. So you will not have any error. So good programmers always use length, bad programmer hard code the length. If you hard code the length, you most likely will have a problem accidentally if somebody increase the array size or decrease the array size. Make sense or no? Always use array.length. Question, concerns, doubt. So far, so good. Now, people on phone, give me thumbs up if you are so far following. No one give thumbs up. Huh? That means no one is following, huh? Oh, yeah, Matthew is always awake. Rest of the people need a coffee. I think we should deliver coffee. So everyone have a coffee and then we can teach a class, right? It's kind of more retention will happen. More knowledge retention will happen. Okay, now I want to create a program. So this program will be helpful for your homework. Right now, you see I use array. I define the array. I change the value of the array. I print that. I showed you the length and all. So let's say if I go back to your homework. See, homework is, in my understanding, it's kind of interesting way to challenge your understanding. That's pretty much it. Homework is not really big thing, but it's a interesting way challenging. And I'm keep doing this. I'm gonna keep doing this thing because you're going through this journey and I'm adding more and more homework and all. And that's why it can help you. But let me show you the example. So here, this is the homework. Now tell me, if somebody asks you this question in your interview, how would you handle it? Read this and think about what you're gonna do. These are two different programs. Program number one, program number two. Let's talk about program number one. Hint. How many values? How many values? 5. So I have to use some loop. Yes or no? So first block, I need to use loop, and the loop will take loop how many times? 5 times. And when I through scanner, I read it and add the value in array. Make sense or no? And then from this value, I need to find which one is the max. So I need to compare value by value. Make sense or no? Make sense? Now, in a real life, this is kind of considered as a simple program, but during interview they give, it's called anxiety, right? Because during interview, you may not know all and you have to do all those things. So it's anxiety. In interview, they normally give you 45 minutes to do this program. Technically speaking, you can be wrong in the interview. Let me repeat. You don't have to do entire program. What they're looking for is the logic. So if somebody give you this program, they're expecting you will write a for loop with 5, yes or no. They're expecting you will define the array, yes or no. And they are expecting that you will do some kind of sum, total, and try to get the value. Even you do rudimentary, you will still get the job. But if you don't define the array, if you don't write a loop, and you just think, that's not gonna work. So in interview, they're not really looking for right or wrong answer. They're looking for your approach. Make sense or not? So you have to start using computer and start writing. Make sure you write comments, make sure you do basic blocks, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to give you similar program. I'm going to do this program. So you're going to get an idea. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask math, science, and English. And I'm going to do total. Math, science, and English. And I'm going to do total. Okay. I'm doing similar thing, but not exact, right? Because otherwise, what's the point, right? You will do it. Now, when you do this, there are two things will happen when you do yourself this type of exercise. Our mind has a potential. And then as you stress a little bit, stress in the sense of positive stress, where you say, how to do this, how to do, mind will come up with the solutions. And that is what sometimes we call innovation and sometimes we call learning. That learning is important. That will remain with you lifetime. Make sense? If you attend a class, you understand, but you will easily forget. But if you use this thing and you apply that a little bit, your mind has a absorption, what you call ability, which you can remember it. So I'm going to give you an example. If you understand that example, then you can do this exercise. Now here you can see here. Enter 5 different value, store all this value in array, and then find the max value. Here you do sum, here do max. So max value you need to do if, right? And then you compare that like that, greater than null, Now there are lots of things available in Google, right? Many of you are having Google, maybe YouTube, maybe ChatGPT, whatever you want to try. I was talking to, recently I got an inquiry. The guy came and said, will I get a job if I do QA training? I said, why? He said, ChatGPT will take all the job away, right? I said, no. ChatGPT itself is a program. And that program is a predefined program. Means what? That program can only answer if they have a model. But if there is no model, they will not answer it. When you work for JP Morgan, Blue Cross Blue Shield and all, their information is not published. So someone needs to be there and do it. ChatGPT can answer generic thing. Maybe this program it can answer. But if this is a flavor of Bank of America or JP Morgan or other, there is no way it will answer. It means at least I can give you guarantee for next 5 to 10 years, you have no problem. After 5 years, maybe who knows? The Bank of America will say ChatGPT for Bank of America, internal. So think about search, Google search. Google search used to be a Google search, right? But then some companies say Chrysler Google search, means called Chrysler Google appliance, means Google search only works for Chrysler. So if that case works, then yeah, there might be a little bit challenge for you, but you will do multi-thing, right? And it's always move around. You have to learn more thing as well. So this is the loop program. Let's get started. So I'm going to use the same program. So we'll save some time. So after this for loop, I'm going to write a program here. So first, I know what I'm going to do. I need a 3 values. Subject, right? So I'll say int, I'll say subjects, sorry, scores. Let's do score. And I'll say this is score. And I'll say new int 3 subjects. Now you say, well, why 3? Right? Because, sorry, 2, my mistake. 0, 1, sorry, 3, 0, 1, 2. So 3 subjects. Why is 3 subjects? Because I'm going to ask math, science, and English. So I'll ask subject 1, subject 2, and subject 3. So now I have array defined. I defined 3 because I'm going to ask 3 questions. Now, because I want to ask, I need a scanner. You guys know that or no? Right? And now we discussed enough. So you start with scanner, S capital scanner, S capital scanner, SC, new scanner in parenthesis system.int, semicolon. Now you can see that this is coming from util class scanner S capital. This is your variable scanner S capital, system in S capital, and semicolon. Now we need to do light bulb import. When you import, this error will disappear. So you just click on that and error will disappear. So that is the basic foundations. I have done it. So that part is so far so good. So 2 lines I wrote, and I'm hoping you also wrote that. Any questions, concerns, doubt? Right? So at least I know I'm going to do scanner. So I got that. Now I need a 3 subjects. So I'm going to do loop, and I know 3 subjects, 0, 1, 2. So I'm going to use loop for int. I can use another variable called j equal to 0. So I don't have to use all the time I. So j less than 3 subjects. So I'll say 0, 1, and 2. So I'm going to say 3 and j plus plus and curly bracket start, press enter. So curly bracket start, press enter. So I'm doing that. Pretty easy. Now I understand that I need to ask user enter, enter, and enter. So user is going to enter. So that has to happen here in the loop. So first time when the user enter, it will be, I will store that value in a score 0. So score 0, I'll take the value. Then second time user enter, it will be score 1. And then I'll ask third user, and that will be score 2. So I can ask user to enter the value, and whatever user enter, I'm going to store as a sc dot next int. Yes or no? So I can do next int. So I will have 3 subjects. And when I have subjects, I can do processing also. So no problem. So here I'll say inside the loop s out, enter score for subject and then plus I. So that way it will be kind of interesting. J, my mistake. So it will show, give me the score for subject 1, subject 2, subject 3. So this will be subject, initially it will be 0. So it will say, give me the score for subject 0. Give me the score for subject 1. Give me the score for subject 2. It will say, because it will prompt me, so I will know what am I doing. Otherwise, I will not know. So that's why I'm doing it. So subject 1, subject 2, subject 3. Now, of course, if somebody asks enter username, I'm going to enter username. If somebody asks enter password, I'm going to enter password. So that is good. Now user is entering. So user is entering, I will store that information in SC. So here I'll say whatever user enters, I'll say score of J. I'm going to store in a J and sc dot next int means I'm going to store next int means whatever user enter, I'm going to print score, what is the variable, and I will store that. So now think about this way. User is entering the value. Whatever value user enter, I'll store because it will store 0. So first will be score 0. I'll store the value. Loop will go, and now J will be 1, and I will enter the value in a score 1, and then it will be score 2. So technically speaking, I will have all scores value after this loop completes. Make sense? Say yes or no. Now I want to test it out before I go in deeper because I like to do program step by step. Trust me, programming is so much fun when you understand it. If you just type without understanding, it's going to be a problem. So now I'm kind of interested in how it works. So I save it, I right click it, and I run it. So it will wait for me in a console. So I have to click on console, let it run the program, save your program, and you can see it's score 0. It means J was 0. If I enter any value, it will go to score 0. So now let's say 50. As soon as I press enter, it's going to ask me, give me the score 1. Check it out. So I got a score 1 because J is now 1. So if I enter, let's say 90, that will go to score 1. And if I say 45, that will go to score 2. Perfect. So I can store 3 value. So that part is working very well. I hope you can run the program. You can click on a console and you can enter value. As you are entering value, score 0, score 1, and score 2. You are able to enter value. Each values are stored in your array. Pretty cool. So now, what is my need? I need to do total. So I can do total here, but because I'm teaching this class and I want to give you step-by-step approach, I'm going to do the total through loops, or I can do total through simple formula. I'm going to cover that, but first I want you to see that it's working for you by entering values.
Yeah.
So now after this thing, your score will have value. The score will have 3 value. Now, if you want to do total, I don't have variable here total, so I can do this thing. Please stop, don't type. Please stop. Hello. Please stop, don't type, because this is just for your understanding. I'm going to change it. So right now, don't type, stop. So like example, if I say int total equals to, I can say score 0, right? Plus score 1. You guys agree or not? Plus score 2. I can do that and it should be fine, but that's bad programming. Because tomorrow, if there is a 30, I'm not going to do score 0 to all the way 30, right? So it's a good idea not to do this way, but instead use loop. So here I'm going to say total 0. Now you type now total 0. So I'm starting with total 0. Now I'm going to do the loop. So I'll say 4. Let's say int. I'll say I'm using another variable x equal to 0, x less than score dot length, and x plus plus. And now I'll say total equals to total plus score x. So this way I can get it. I think a spell mistake or what happened here. What's the int? Oh, I use the variable. Oh, it's already defined variable. So I need to use y. Sorry for that. Oh, variable y, if you're okay with that. So now you can see now I define the variable here and I can say anything, it will loop it and it will add all. So after this, I will have total created. For your homework, you may want to use if conditions to find out the max value. So you have to play around. But here I have total calculated. It will loop score 1, score 2, score 3, because you can start 0. So it will be adding score 0 value to total. Then it will do add value score 1, and it will add value score 2. Once complete, then total will have a value because you're looping 3 times, and each time you're adding value totals to total. Now, after this, you just say s out total equals 2, and you will see that it is going to be a final total for your score. If you want to print your score also, you can inside that you can write s out, and you can do score. You can say subject, like example subject score. You can say subject score. You can say plus y, and here you can s out. I'll do print here, print, and plus score y. So let me give you a little bit hint here what I'm trying to do. So you will see that. So I added this thing. If I just do total, you will not know. So I added this 2 line. This line will say subject score 1, because this is plus will give me 0. And this line I use print here. So I remain in the same line. And I'm saying equals, and there is a space, I have added a space, plus score. So what will happen? You will see like this thing. Subject 1, 50. Subject 2, 60. Subject 3, 70. So this item is coming from this line because you're printing score. This item is coming from this line, and then total will come from this line. Make sense? Here I use print. Print means I'm printing in the same line. So first I'm printing subject score like this. Instead of subject, I will just say subject. That will be easy. So let me save it, run it, and then you can check it out. So right now it's going to ask me 3 subjects. So I'll say first 50, 90, and 80. And you can see now nicely, it's going to print me all 3 subjects. Pretty good. Let me know if you are able to do that. Pretty good. So you can see it's more readable, so that, hey, you enter subject, this subject, and y means 0. So 0, you enter 50. This is 50 is coming from here. And because I use print here, they are in the same line. And then total is happening. Total is happening for all 3 subjects. And then you're printing total. So pretty readable, right? It's kind of art of making this more readable. That's why I use it. If you're able to run it, give me thumbs up, right? This is like 45 minutes program in order to get a job. And if you do it, they will say, oh, you know Java, come and work for us. Normally they give you some challenge. They will give you some challenge so you can work on the programming aspect. Everyone is good? Any questions, concerns, doubt? Any line doesn't make sense to you, please ask. Those who are doing homework, for them it's naturally easy. Why? Because you're understanding. You have already done some homework. Your mind is absorbing and your muscles are stronger and stronger. So that's why it's very important. I always request people when they repeat the class, they have to do homework. Otherwise, we'll remove that from this class, because if you are completely silent, there is no need to add you. So I continuously remove the people from the class, because there is no point to have like extra people when they are not doing homework. And that our intention is to help you. It's not like we want to remove you from the class, but if you are not helping yourself, there is nothing we can do. This is kind of good program. It's easy for you to understand. I format it also. So I gave you enough hint to do homework, right? Now, if you're having a curly bracket problem, always click on the curly bracket and see that what happened. Sometimes, people don't get print versus println. We already talked. If you want to do like same line, you do print. So you're printing subject 1 first. This will print subject 1, and then there is a space. So this is create a space, and then you're saying score. So you print that. So it goes through like that. Then because it's a loop, it does 3 times. And once the loop completes, you are printing total. Good. Any questions, concerns, doubt? Good. Life is good so far. So I'll give a minute or two in case if you need still help, ask your neighbor in case that, and then we'll move to ArrayList. We just completed array, then we'll move to ArrayList, and then we'll take a break. Good. If you are able to do, you should give a pat on the back, because these are useful program. Trust me, very useful program. As a QA, good news, you don't have to be expert in Java. You just need to be basic loop, basic condition, basic method. You need to have basic. I'm not expecting you need to be super genius as a QA student. Why? Because the expectation is not that you should write a lot of Java program. Expectation is you should be able to write if condition, for loop, function, array, a little bit. And even you take like 2 days, 3 days, not a problem in a real life. They will give you, because they are hiring you as a QA, not a Java program. Though if you're good, you can go as a Java programmer also. So technically speaking, don't be scared. Oh my God, I don't know Java. I don't know. I'm not expert. The only thing you need to do is practice. And whatever you know enough to get you started. Now we'll moving to the array list. So before we go to array list, I want to show something and then we'll do the exercise. Now the next topic we're going to cover is array versus array list. So now let me cover what is array. So first of all, in array, I think you guys are clearly understood. Please see here. In array, you understood when I say B of like this, int, new, int, and you can easily specify the block and you create an array. Or you can say string friends equals to like friends of array, and you can specify friends name, Tom, Mike, and you create array, right? So we talk about the problem in array. There is a problem. It is a fixed size. It's not dynamic. So to solve this problem, Java came up with array list. Array list means it can shrink, it can expand. So array list is a little bit advanced version of array. Array has a fixed length, has a memory problem. And array, you have to loop in order to find it. There is no way you can say, give me the 5th item, give me the 6th item. You have to go through the thing. So array list is more advanced. And array list, the difference between array versus array list, array can grow infinite, depends on your need. So you don't have to define fixed size. Here, you have to define fixed size. In array list, there is no fixed size. It automatically is a scale. So it's a good thing. Second thing, array list allows objects, which you are going to learn for your project. So in a project, you have to use array. So if you say in database class, one student has many grades. So one student has many grades, right? One to many. As soon as you say many, it means array list. Speak with me. Array list. You should try to use array list. You know why? Because you don't know the future. It can grow more than array list can scale automatically. Array doesn't scale. So normally I will use array list more often than array. Array you use when you are having a few items, maybe 1 or 2 items, and you know everything, and you know this is the max size, then array is fine. Array is for simple work. Array list you can add object. So example, school has students. So school is object and student is object. So if I'm dealing with object, I'll only use array list. If I'm dealing with objects, here I'm dealing with the data, like example 1, 2, 3, 4, or Tom, Mike, those are called values. These are values. But if I want student, book, movie, transactions, all those are objects, then I will use array list. So array list normally used for objects. Speak with me. Object. Again, object. So when you do relationship, right? Like example in your project, which I'm hoping you started, bank has customers. So bank is object, customer is objects. So if you want bank has customer, then you have to use array list. Sounds good? So array list has a very special type of it where you write. So first you write array list and then use, please pay attention, okay? Because this thing is asked in interview as well as in exam. So after array list, you specify what kind of array list you have with with angular bracket, you specify what is array list. So example, if I say this is string, means I can only store string. And you can see S is capital means that's the object. So here I can store string object. But if I want to store student, I will say student. Make sense or no? If I want to do bank, I will say bank. If I want a movie, then I'll use movie. Make sense or no? So now this concept, the angular bracket, is called generic. Speak with me. Generic means anything you can write technically, but if you write this way, it's a generic. But if you write string, means you are saying only write string. So think about bank has customers. So you know what you are writing. What you are writing? Customers. Bank has accounts. What you are writing? So I always use in an angular bracket a particular object, because if I don't do that, then you can write anything. And if you write anything, that's a problem. How am I going to process? Because if I know the all account, then I can do find out, saving account, checking out. But if I have account, I have customers, if I have mix, then I can't do anything. So generic is good, but we will be very specific by type. And that's why we give object. What we give? What we give? So array list, and then we say string, and then we'll say what kind of list it is. So here I can say friends. So I'll say friends or friend list like that. Make sense or no? So if I have friends, I can write friends also, no problem. Like that, friends, sorry, friends. Make sense? Writing list is not a problem. So you can write friend list like this, not a problem. Then you can say new. Why new? Because it's helping you. Then you can say array list again. And then generic, same type. And if you do so, then you define array list. So between defining array versus array list is quite different. Array list start with array, and you have to import this just like you're importing scanner. Yes or no? We have to import java.util. So sometime in interview people ask which package you use. You are using util package, java.util. In java.util array list you are using, scanner you are using. I will be teaching you after break hash map. The hash map you are using. So array list is nothing but it's a list. You can keep adding item in a list. Please pay attention. You keep item in a list just like a array. It is like a list, and every item is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. You keep adding and you have infinite opportunity. It's a list. List means you keep adding. So example, I have books. Then how many books I have? Java, Oracle, like that. Makes sense or no? So array list is very similar as array. You keep adding, but array list allows objects, and array list is infinite. So most people use array list. So far so good. Once you do that, you will use loop, and the loop is very simple, for loop. But the way you use for loop is a little different than the array. So here you can say for, but this is string, yes or no? So here you can say string, and then you are writing friend. So you can write friend, this is a variable. And then you can say colon. What are you going to say? Colon, and then you write the whole array list like that. So what you are saying here, get one by one friend from this friend list, and then you process it. Make sense? So array list use a special type of loop. The loop is, first of all, because you are string, you do string. Because you have friend list, you are using variable friend. Can I use X? Yeah. But because the friend, you're saying, I will take one friend from this thing. So let's say example, you have 3 friends, then this loop will go 3 times. Why? Because the friend list has 3 friends. Automatically it will take first friend, print it, second friend, print it, third friend, print it. Make sense? Say yes.
Yes.
Make sense? So I'm going to type, I want you to type also. And once we do, we'll take a break. Okay.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So in the regular array, can you technically store objects?
It's pretty hard. You can, but it's pretty hard. So I would not suggest. You can, technically speaking, but then you will not have a control, because array will have problem. Because if you want to do processing, you don't get this loop. You see this loop?
Yeah.
That loop you only get through array list. So it's a little bit, you can do almost anything you can do from array list to array. The only thing is it's a fixed size, right? So mostly I would do array list, yeah.
And then in the array list
Mhm.
itself, saying that the data type that you're storing
Is the objects.
is objects, but is it the same data type, all of them?
You cannot, ideally array list you will not use int, you will not use it. You have to use objects. So object means class. You can do string, book, movie, right? So coming class is our object-oriented programming. We will use array list heavily because in database class, right? In database class, you table to table relationship, right?
Yeah.
So those are objects, right? Hospital has a doctors, hospital has a nurses, hospital has employee. Those are objects you store here. So if you think the project, in your project, bank has a divisions, divisions has employees, bank has a customers, customer has accounts. Those are objects. So if you want to do objects, when you say has a or many, you use array list.
So for like primitive data type, can you use
Primitive data type, you use array. You don't use array list. Array list need object because it's generic. Generic only work with the objects. What is object? You class. Basically, objects is nothing but class, and always class start first letter capital. String is a class, but int, float, character, boolean, those are not a class. Those are primitive data type. Those are simple. So simple data type you use array. Complex data type you use array list. Okay, so let's do it, and then after break we'll do again something more. So after this line, I'm going to press enter, and I'll define array list. So let's say array, a capital, list, and then generic, I'll say string, and I'll say friends equal to new array, L capital list, and say string, and like that. So I define array list is going to cry. Why it's crying? Because I need to import the class, and that class is from Java util. So make sure you understand a capital, L capital, string S capital, angular. This is the friends, a capital, right? A capital, L capital, string. So remember that part. Array list. List means list of values. And here I'm saying I'm going to only allow string. I'm going to only allow string. Make sure you type correctly. And once you get an error, click on this light bulb and import java.util.ArrayList. Import java.util.ArrayList. Java.util.ArrayList. Good. This variable, you can write anything here, not a problem. So I'm going to import it, check it out, and it says java.util.ArrayList. Sounds good? So when you import, error will disappear. And error still exists. Maybe I made it. 1 second. What is the problem here?
I don't think she likes using the same word again.
No, 1 second. No. What is the problem here? Hey. Oh, I have friends already. Oh, I'll do friend list. Thank you. So what's going on here? Thank you. So friend list. So makes sense. So this variable I already used somewhere. That's why it's crying. So far so good. This and this is identical. I normally use that. Array list A and array list this is identical. Remember L capital, A capital, and I use friends list because the variable was used, right? Very simple, right? Now use this item, and then you can add. So you can say dot add, and you can add a friend name. So example, you can say, hey, my friend name is Mike. And then you can say again, add, and the second friend name is Kevin. Again, friend, add, and then say this is Ed. So I added 3 friends. And if I want to print that, you use for string friend and then colon friend list. And you can print it as out. And just a friend. So you're printing friend. Save it, run it, check it out. My score is there, right? Sorry for that. I have to enter the score in order to go further. I should have commented, but you got the idea. Sorry for that. I keep using same program, so it is asking score and all, but you got the idea. So this is the line, and you make sure you import that array list. I added the friends information here, and because it's a string, I define the string here, and because of it's a list, I define the list here, and then I have colon, and I use the print, so you can see all the friends which I added. I'm printing here. You may want to click on the console and enter your subject score because your program is still continuing and you need to enter those. See, programming is not hard. It just takes a little time to understand, and I'm pretty positive you all are understanding. You should be active on a WhatsApp. You should be active in your project group because that way you can learn more while doing it. I had one student like 2-3 batch back. When she started, she did not have any programming background, and her husband said she should go. I think her husband was working on Zurich, and he said like there is opportunity in his team, and the lady, she was saying I have no idea about programming, and her husband wrote a letter after we complete the training and said, wow, she knows a lot better than I do in my real life. So that is the power of doing practice and lab. She's working in Zurich right now. Just 6-month training. That's pretty much it. So there are hundreds of stories we have, and I can tell you her name also. But what I'm trying to say, she started with very, very basic. Means she came from India, never worked here, never had a computer programming. She was very worried about Java, but because her husband support in the sense of that there is opportunity in his company, she kind of put effort, and she really did a good job. She was in my Saturday class. Make sense? Question, concerns? Everyone understand you do need to import ArrayList. If you don't import, you will have error. And because I'm using ArrayList, there is a special loop. This is called advanced for loop. This advanced for loop works very well with ArrayList, and that's why we are using it. Sounds good? So let's take a small break. After break, we're gonna continue hash map, exception, and file. So we have 3 topics to cover. Yeah. So people come back.
The program.
So we have. Sorry, what's the question?
Can you copy paste the program in the chat? I actually I had an error, so I lost the program.
Okay. Which one you want? Last program? This one?
Yes.
Okay, no problem.
Actually, I lost the complete class, so that was a problem.
Lost the complete class? What is that? Oh, this class?
Yes.
This class?
I don't
That's
know.
fine. I'll start a brand new
Okay.
brand new project. No problem. No problem. We'll take care of that. Okay, so right now we have almost 10 students here. I think we have 3-4 students absent today. Okay, no. Okay. Nusha is here, Allah is here, Arthur is here, Kavita, Matthew, Michael, Ola, Purva. Perfect. Now let me start a brand new class. That way, in case if you have a problem, we can always catch up with that. I will be teaching now hash map. So first I'll go back to our forum and show you where I'm asking you to do that. So for ArrayList, I kind of put some example here. So play around. You can use, if you want to use number, then there is a class you have to use. There is a class called integer. So anytime you start with first letter capital, that's a class, it's an object. So if you want to use numeric, then you have to use integer, I, just like we use string. ArrayList is kind of good. And then this example I gave you, so you can use it. There are 2 ways you can use ArrayList. I like this loop. So we use this concept, right? Anytime when you use that, you need to use the list which you are using here, and then you define. So we use this part. This is in our forum. This is, homework is there. So we also talk about, you can also add like string like this, ArrayList string, add a string, and you can print ArrayList also. Okay. Now I want to cover, so there are some example I added, play around. Array and ArrayList differences are there. You can just see that, but now hash map. So if you are in a forum, great. If not, you should go in a forum, so it will be helpful. So let me take a few minutes why everyone can go to forum, Infotech forum, because next couple of programs we're going to do cut and paste from the class. So people on phone, I'm going to put it in chat. Everyone jump into the forum. If you do not have forum access, please do request and I'll approve it. So make sure you jump into forum. It's in about us. It's in forum, about us, forum, in Infotech guide, about us, forum. And when you go to forum, if you have not signed up yet, in case if you have not signed up yet, you do need to sign up. And if you sign up, I'll give you permission so you can access. If you have not signed up, you do need to sign up. Once you sign up, go to quality and assurance, And once you're in quality assurance, you should go through Java programming. Because many students, are kind of asking, that's why I keep adding more content here. So we are in Java programming post. So in Java programming post, if you go there, in that you go all the way down, all the way. So we are right now in week 4 or 5. So last week we did that, we did this thing, and now we just completed ArrayList, array, we completed that. So if you scroll down, we are in week 5, we completed that ArrayList, and now we are going to do hash map. So once you are in hash map, wait for me. Give me thumbs up if you're already there, so at least I know that you're here. If you do not have access to forum, please do request and I'll approve you right away. So that way, if you don't have access to the forum, without forum, you will not be able to do next 3-4 labs because we have a lot bigger programs and we cannot type because it's long program.
Question, is this Java class different than the Java, I guess, or regular Java class?
No, actually, I kind of combined that. So that's why you guys get maximum value from this class. Technically speaking, this class does prepare Java certification. We used to teach only two weeks of Java, 2 or 3 weeks of Java in QA. But right now you can see we're only 5 or 6 weeks. The reason, because we give you maximum value. I have seen the student who does good job in Java, they do amazing job in Selenium. So that's why we teach Java a little bit more and foundation is stronger, but there is no difference between Java programming versus the QA students. They are exactly same, the same content. You are getting maximum value, but those who are interested in, I would strongly suggest you go for a Microsoft Java certification. You should be able to get the certification very quickly. Yeah.
Is there something different, or is there advanced Java class after this one?
Sorry, could you repeat again? Mike, your voice is breaking up a little bit.
Sorry, is there an advanced Java class after this, or is that something?
Java is a very infinite. Java is infinite, so there is no advanced, but there is a Java web development, Java mobile development, Java versus web services. So the Java is infinite. You cannot complete Java in life. It's so big, right? So the person who is learning Java right now, what you are learning is called Java core, which is everywhere it useful. But then Java web development, then Java Spring development, then Java mobile development, then Java Hadoop. So there are a lot of Java flavor. I spent like almost 16, 17 years and I can tell myself I'm still not done yet. So 16, 17 years, I'm still not done. So I would not go like that way unless you are progressively moving in your career. But if you are going for Java programming, this is good. Java web development is quite different. Yes.
The Microsoft exam, I think that one expired.
No, that's for SQL Server expired. I don't think Java has expired.
I tried looking down.
Java is also expired. It was simple, it was easy, it is powerful. Then you can go for Oracle Java certification, like expensive. That is very expensive, but concept is same. Microsoft Java certification was kind of easy. Did it really expire? I have to check that. But anyway, let's get started. So now we are going to talk about what is the difference between HASMAP and all. If you're not here, you should come here on this forum. Don't tell me that I did not tell you, because entire programs we're going to cut and paste, because these programs are now longer, hundreds of lines. Some may go more line than that. So I want to make sure you don't type, because if you type, you make a mistake, you're done, right? So we want to save that time. So I have done the homework for you. And it's very powerful because it's useful for your project also. So before we jump into the coding, I want to make sure you understand.